Hi everyone, Sarah from Mimi Designs here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to put together your charcuterie board. In the kit, you'll have just a little basic 101. You're going to have your stencil, your handles, Mod Podge and paint, and you're also going to have this SB. It stands for spoon butter, and this is what you're going to use at the end to seal it, seal the wood, and also make it food safe. So I'll explain that after. So first, let's go ahead and move all this away. We're going to do the stencil part first. So basically, white side up, you are going to peel the white away from the blue. What's going to happen is that all the little blue pieces are going to want to stick up, pop up on you. As you peel, you just want to make sure they all stay down. So just take your time peeling. You want to keep this flat. And then just keep going. Make sure everything stays down. Once your white backing is off, you can flip it around. You're going to want to make sure your grains are either going to be going horizontally or vertically. I mean, you can go do it slanted, but it's up to you. I like to go with the grain, so I like to line it up like this. So when it's in the middle and this circle, you're going to want to make sure that there's the same amount on all the outsides, and that's going to help it. Then you can rub it down. At this point, you can use a credit card or something to help rub it down, but really just your hands should be fine. So after that, then you're just going to peel all the tape off. Now, as you're peeling, you want to make sure, again, that all the little blue pieces, all the insides of the letters are going to stay down on this board. If anything moves around on you or pops up, you can just take an X-Acto knife or the pin. This one got kind of stuck underneath. There, pull it out and just place it back down. All right, after that's all done, then you can take your Mod Podge. It's going to have the MP on it, and this whole thing is just going to get one light coat of Mod Podge. If you see white like that, it means it's too thick. So you just want one coat of this, one even coat, and you really don't want it too thick at all. If you see white, that means it's probably too thick. So everything cut out that where paint is going on is going to get the Mod Podge. What the Mod Podge is doing is it is sealing the edge of the stencil so that when we do paint, the paint won't go and sneak under and bleed. It really does help. So that's a little heavy, so I'm going to go and once your Mod Podge is dry, you don't want to use the blow dryer for this part. You want it to dry naturally. The reason we're not blow drying is because sometimes that heat is just too hot and it will melt this. Next step is going to be the black paint. The key to this part is going to be the lightest coats you have ever seen. You're going to do multiple coats of this. So you're actually going to dip into your black paint, use that paper and dip off. Get it so it's almost dry. And you want these coats to be so light. So you dip in. I even use the blank space on the stencil just to get most of it off. See how light that first coat is? If it's any heavier than that, it will want to sneak under and bleed. So light coats, less is more on this. So you'll do one coat when that's, and then you'll come back and do another one. As you go, you can go back and smooth it and make sure it's really nice and covered, but still really light before you go on to the next section. This is my one coat. So you'll want to let it dry just a little bit. What happens if you don't let it dry in between? Sometimes it will start picking up on that spot. So you can just start where you started your first coat and just do another coat. Sometimes you might even need to do 3. Just keep going until it's really nice and covered and it's the way you like it. Two coats should be fine, but sometimes you might need to keep going over it so it's really nice and covered. After your last coat is done, you don't need to wait for it to dry to peel it. It's actually going to be easier if you peel it up when it's still a little bit on the wet side. So you can go ahead and take off your stencil. It's probably going to come off in pieces. So just take your time and just take all the pieces out. When you get to this middle part, you're going to have a little safety pin in your kit, and that's going to help you pick out the pieces. Or you can use an X-Acto knife or anything, a push pin, any kind of sharp. But you want to go at it at like an angle, like this way. That way it won't stab your wood. Don't worry if some pieces are left behind. You're going to go back and get those later, so don't worry about those. Once all the bigger pieces are off, then you can go and blow dry it. That's going to help release the back and make it so it melts the back a little bit and the pieces would come up a little bit easier. But take your time with this part. There's going to be a lot of little pieces. This will probably be the most time-consuming part, but I like it. It's kind of therapeutic. So just stab and get those little pieces out. This one's stubborn. If it dries on there, it's going to be harder to peel up, so you'll probably need to. I'm not used to using this pen. There. If you had any little bleeding, you can always go in with like the knife or even the pin and just scrape it off. I had a little bit in the inside of my E. Just dig it off, just like that. Okay, next step is going to be to put your handles in. So we'll do that. To seal the board, I usually like to wait about 24 hours just to make sure that the paint has plenty of time to dry. So once that is done, you can do the spoon butter. What this basically is just beeswax and sunflower oil. You can use a mineral oil to seal your board. I like to use a wax, and you'll probably see why. Just get some onto your rag, and you're gonna buff it in. So to take care of this board, you're going to want to keep it waxed, keep it oiled. That's going to keep it from absorbing any food, and it's going to make it food safe too. To clean it, you don't want to immerse it in water. You're going to want to just take a soapy wet cloth, just like any cutting board or wooden spoons. You should do both sides just to protect it, so when you do clean it. And that is it. Now it is ready to put your spread of meats and cured meats and cheeses and anything you want. Just gonna finish doing that. And that is it. If you have any questions, feel free to message me and I will get back to you. Thank you. Bye.